Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this is for 16th January 2021. As we all know, we are into the revision mode. We are revising the entire syllabus. As part of it, we are revising last chapter number 22, chemical coordination and integration. If you recollect from your memory, we know that we were talking about various endocrine glands that are present in our body, their location, their chemical secretions, hormones secreted by them, and what role those hormones play in our body. As part of it, yesterday we discussed about thyroid gland. As we said, it is composed of two lobes on either side of trachea connected by isthmus. So thyroid gland is made up of follicles and stromal tissues. So you got, I said, follicles will have T4 and T3, and then stromal will have thyrocalcitonin being secreted. And iodine is very essential for synthesis of thyroid hormones. So all this we discussed yesterday. We also talked about the parathyroid. And now today in this session we are going to discuss about another important endocrine gland, that is thymus. This gland is very important because not that just it is located on the dorsal side of the heart and the aorta. This gland releases peptide hormone called thymosin. So this is important, thymosin, and it helps in differentiation of T lymphocytes for cell-mediated immunity. So this is the thing. And it also promotes production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. Look at that. And so this is very important gland as it helps in boosting our immunity. And sometimes some people having, if you recollect from your memory, some immunodisorders will be there, autoimmunodisorders like myasthenia gravis. So doctors advise the removal of thymus. So once the thymus is removed, the autoimmune disorders such as myasthenia gravis may be cured, but then the person will be losing this production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. So there is a choice. He has no other way whether to go for it or keep it. Next, adrenal gland, located on the anterior part of each kidney, just above the kidney, adrenal glands will be there. It's composed of types of tissues: central adrenal medulla and outer cortex, adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla secretes a very important hormone called adrenaline and noradrenaline. So these hormones commonly called as catecholamines. Now adrenaline is very important because it is directly responsible for all the emotions that we display, like anger, frustration, happiness, all this, and bravery. Okay. So, normally the coaches in athletics and games and sports, they prefer person having higher adrenaline because some sort of bravery will be there. Higher the adrenaline, the more ferociously the players play. And in boxing, of course, I need not tell you, higher the adrenaline, stronger the boxer. So these hormones are also called as emergency hormones. These hormones increase alertness. See, in boxing this is required, in all the sports and games alertness is required. And pupillary dilation, you are showing anger, making your eyes big, and then sweating, heartbeat, rate of respiration, particularly in athletes, and glycogenolysis. See, glycogen will be broken, lysis. So that's why adrenaline plays a very crucial role in our life. The adrenal cortex secretes glucocorticoids and mineral corticoids. Glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis, okay, genesis, birth, giving birth to gluconeogen. Mineral corticoids regulate, see, very important, water and electrolyte contents of the body. This is very, very important. Without this mineral corticoids, the body may become dry and we may lose all the electrolytes and become weak. So it's all the more important that this hormone is. That's why overall, if you see, out of all the glands, adrenal gland plays a very, very crucial role. And pancreas acts as both endocrine as well as exocrine. So many times this question is asked in the examination, NEET examination, UPSC ND examination. Pancreas acts as both endocrine as well as exocrine. The reason is simple, exocrine because tubes are there, okay, ducts are there. Endocrine pancreas consists of isolates of Langerhans. This also many times asked in the NEET exam. Which gland contains isolates of Langerhans? And this isolates of Langerhans contains alpha and beta cells. The alpha cells secrete hormone called glucagon, and beta cells secrete very, very important hormone called insulin, which controls blood sucrose or blood glucose level in the body. And when insulin is not sufficiently secreted, the problem of retention of glucose arises. So person becomes diabetic. Glucose will escape in the urine. So person becomes diabetic. In some people, the pancreas will not secrete any insulin at all. Zero. Not deficiency, zero. Non-production of insulin. That means the beta cells which are responsible for secretion of insulin have been attacked by our own WBC. Again, autoimmune disorder. So our WBC will wrongly identify beta cells as our enemies and attack our own beta cells. So insulin will not be there. So it is something related to genetics. So that is the reason why diabetes is of two types. Okay, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Both hormones are involved in maintenance of blood sugar levels. Glucagon is peptide hormone. It stimulates glycogenolysis, okay, glycogenolysis, resulting in increased blood sugar. So whenever the sugar levels goes up in the blood, we say hyperglycemia, hyper. And insulin is a peptide hormone that play a major role in regulation of glucose homeostasis. Okay, it triggers rapid movement of glucose from blood to hepatocytes and adipocytes, resulting in decreased blood glucose levels. Whenever the blood glucose levels are decreased, we say hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is decreased. So the balance between this hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia is normal health. Then we come to the testis. It's in male. All the male will have this pair of testes, and they are present in the abdominal, lower abdominal I can say, or pelvic region in a bag-like structure called scrotum. So they perform dual functions as primary sex organ as well as endocrine glands. Leydig cells, okay, or interstitial cells produce androgens, the male sex hormones, mainly testosterone, that regulate maturation of primary sex organs as well as spermatogenesis, production of sperms. So testosterone is directly linked with the production of testes. And testosterone is the male sex hormone. It not only responsible for the production of sperms, it also responsible for production of secondary sexual characters like development of mustache, development of beard, change of voice, muscle gain, hair on the chest. All these things, secondary sexual characters will be appearing in a male because of the testosterone. Then ovary. A pair of ovaries, two ovaries, are present in the pelvic region of a female, and these produce two groups of steroid hormones called estrogen and progesterone. These two are called female sex hormones. Estrogen is synthesized and secreted by growing ovarian follicles. After ovulation, Ruptured ovum called corpus luteum secretes progesterone. Estrogen produces wide range actions like growth of female secondary sex organs, development of ovarian follicles. There are varieties of follicles like primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, and ovarian follicle or Graafian follicle. From that Graafian follicle, rupture takes place and ovum will be released. So these are all called ovarian follicles, and regulation of female sexual behavior. And progesterone, of course, plays a very crucial role, important role in pregnancy. It regulates the pregnancy. Hence, all these endocrine glands virtually decide what you are and how you are. Next, along with these endocrine glands, we talked that some other organs present in our body also secrete hormones: heart, kidney, and gastrointestinal tract. So already we talked about heart. Atrial wall of heart secretes peptide hormone called ANF. Very, very crucial. Remember that circulation chapter we discussed the role of ANF, atrial natriuretic factor, which decreases blood pressure. Directly it is responsible for low BP. Then juxtaglomerular cells of kidney produce erythropoietin hormone, which stimulates erythropoiesis. Okay, erythropoiesis. Think of that nephron, and in that glomerulus, Bowman's capsule. So juxtaglomerular cells of the nephron. Then gastrointestinal tract, that is digestive tract, secrete four major peptide hormones. First one, gastrin, stimulates the secretion of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen, again an enzyme that is responsible for digestion of proteins. Gastrin. Next, secretin, second hormone, acts on the exocrine pancreas and stimulates secretion of water and bicarbonate ions, secretin. And third, many times this is a CCK, C for cholecysto, another C, kinin. Cholecystokinin stimulates the secretion of pancreatic enzymes and bile juice. Many times the role of CCK is asked. So it is responsible for pancreatic enzymes and bile juice production. Next, GIP, gastric inhibitory peptide, inhibits gastric secretion and motility. So the very important hormones the digestive tract is producing, and this needs to be focused. Then we go for the mechanism of hormone action, how important it is. Let's see. Hormone produce their effects on target tissues by binding to specific protein called hormone receptors. So look at that blue one, hormone receptor, located in the target tissue. For example, he is taking here FSH, follicular stimulating hormone. FSH again is secreted in the brain, okay, and I said the master gland secretes this FSH, and it gets mixed up with blood because it is secreted by endocrine gland. Quickly it mixes up with the blood and reaches the target area. What is the target area? Ovarian cell membrane. In the target area there is a receptor, okay, specific protein, binding to specific protein called hormone receptors. And then once it binds to the receptor, binding of hormones for receptor leads to formation of hormone receptor complex, HRC. This binding leads to change in the target tissue. First, the moment it binds, response 1, first response will take place. That is generation of second messenger, cyclic AMP or Ca2+. That leads to biochemical changes in the target area. And the biochemical changes will make physiological responses like growth of ovary, formation of varieties of follicles like primary, secondary, tertiary, Graafian follicles. So this is how the hormone receptor complex play a crucial role in bringing physiological changes. On the basis of chemical nature, hormones are grouped as four types. Okay, I think that we'll see in the next session. Before that, you draw this diagram and try to understand the hormonal action. I have taken FSH, you take another